It's okay, Jake. You always try to protect me and Finn, but sometimes we are going to get hurt. How about today, you let me be the papa?
As with many other people, the Adventure Time series is one that lies very close to my heart. How can it not be? I grew up with the show after all, and I'm sure you guys will find out the true extent of this as the video progresses. Anyway, I've been binging these videos on YouTube like crazy recently. They're called iceberg explanations. Basically, they're images that play off of the phrase, the tip of the iceberg. These images usually center around one particular topic featuring obscure facts and theories. As one goes deeper and deeper down the iceberg, these facts and theories get more and more obscure and creepy. So inevitably, I decided to look up Adventure Time iceberg image one day and was astounded at the fact that no one had made one yet. So after rewatching some of my favorite episodes, I created the image that you see on screen now. One last thing to clear up before getting into the video, you'll see two things pop up on screen with each topic. First is the Finn sword at the bottom left corner of your screen. The more I'm sure of the validity of a certain topic, the more the sword will be lit up, and vice versa with uncertainty. The second thing that will pop up on screen will be specification as to whether or not the topic being discussed is a fact or a theory. All that aside, let's dive into the icy waters of the Adventure Time iceberg. Typing in the theme song. One of the most well-known things about the show is that you can actually hear typing in the opening sequence. When workshopping the show, creator Pendleton Ward recorded the theme song as a temporary solution as they needed to submit a rough draft of the opening to the network. In this rough draft, you can hear Ward's colleague, Derek Drymon, typing. After eventually recording a fully fleshed out version of the song, Ward decided he liked the original more.
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends, we'll go to very distant lands.
Finn is colorblind. In the episode Red Starved, Finn, Jake, and Marceline get stuck in a cave. In said cave, Marceline gets hungry. Fearing for his life, Jake buries Marceline upon her request. The point is, Finn goes looking for something red. He finds a really heavy ruby upon searching the endless caverns. Upon dragging the rock back, Jake asks him why he brought back an emerald. It is here that it is revealed that Finn perceives green as a reddish-gray. So the type of color blindness he has is called red-green color blindness, or deuteranopia. Here's some pictures I whipped up simulating what Finn sees. It's all a dream, woo!
Finally.
One of the most famous fan theories out there, the dream theory states that Finn is in a coma, and the world of Ooo is nothing but a coma-induced dream, with the only connection within the real world and Ooo being his dog, Jake. Now I could definitely see why people believe this theory, especially considering the earlier, less story-heavy seasons of the show, but these days I highly doubt it. Although I gotta admit, it's really hard to debunk something as broad as it's all a dream. Anyway, on to the next layer. PB's police state. It doesn't take that many episodes to realize that the Candy Kingdom is a bit of a police state. PB's been shown a couple times going full 1984, observing her subjects' every move. It's not like this doesn't have any repercussions either. This has resulted in a strange underbelly of people hell-bent on fighting against the princess. The Peacemaster comes to mind. This topic is pretty high up on the list because the show directly addresses it multiple times. The Snail. Ah yes, the Snail, the one character that needs no introduction. Being in every episode of Adventure Time must be pretty hard work, but you know what? This guy did it. One of my favorite things about the Snail is that it actually gains some plot significance at some point in the story. The Lich possesses the Snail in the episode Mortal Folly, allowing him to escape. Prismo's boss. Prismo has a boss. This reality warping, wish granting, pickle making guy has a boss. One of the most powerful beings in the show acknowledges that he doesn't want to make his boss mad, and it's never touched on again in the show. Kinda makes you wonder. Finn references DMT. Yeah, there's not really that much to say about this one. Finn is at PB Science Fair with some mind-altering glasses and he just straight up name drops the drug's scientific name. I guess I'll just let the clip speak for itself.
It's okay. I'm sure the solution is on my bulleted list! Don't worry, I have everything under control.
Under control? My guests are terrified!
Yes! And their brains are releasing adrenaline, dopamine, even dimethyltryptamine from the pineal gland! This has serious...
Martin has brain damage. One of the most decisive canon things in the series, the fact that Martin has brain damage has been critiqued by many. A lot of people saw it as a quick and easy explanation as to how he went from being a cool dad to being a cosmic criminal. Personally, I sort of agree with the critics on this one. I think a more in-depth explanation would have been cooler, but I guess this feeling of dissatisfaction is befitting of Martin. Celebrity VAs. Adventure Time actually has its fair share of celebrity voice actors, and it's always a delight to see who's who. There's way too many people to name right now, but some significant ones are Weird Al Yankovic as the Banana Man, Mark Hamill as the Fear Feaster, Neil Patrick Harris as Prince Gumball, and Donald Glover as Marshall Lee. There's a few other ones that I can't mention right now, but there are plenty more, rest assured. I recommend looking into it yourselves to see if there's anyone you recognize, especially if you're a Star Trek fan. Mr. M. In the Adventure Time BMO special, there's a character called Mr. M. He actually plays a pretty big part within the special, aiding the main antagonist in scamming the entirety of the Drift. Well, it turns out Mr. M is actually Martin Mertens, Finn's bio-dad. Besides his actions being totally in line with his character post-head injury, Mr. M being Martin has also been confirmed by the show's creators themselves. Finn and Jake's body count. Thanks to Jimmy Stave on the Adventure Time subreddit, we have an extensive and detailed account of Finn and Jake's kill count up to season 6. I won't list everything on the list because Jimmy Stave put a serious amount of work into their post. I recommend checking it out for yourselves, link in the description. Anyway, their total on-screen count as of season 6 is 174 people and monsters. Simon is immortal. In the final episode of Adventure Time, Golb is summoned by Betty, Maja, and Magic Man. When trapped inside of Golb, Betty wishes for the power to keep Simon safe. Besides being an extremely emotional scene, this moment also raises the question, is Simon immortal now? Previously I only thought that Simon would be impervious to harm, however ever since watching the Obsidian special I noticed that Simon looked like he hasn't aged a day when time has clearly passed due to Finn's change in appearance. Safe to say that Simon's got a long road ahead of him, seeing as Betty wished for him to be safe from harm as well. BMO's house. This one isn't really that much of an obscure fact or a theory, it just mostly refers to the insane amount of stuff BMO has in his house in the last episode of the show. Some of these are understandable like Glob's helmet or Marceline's shirt, but others are just insane. For example, BMO has both Finn's massive grass arm and the maid just chilling in the background. How he got a hold of these, I have no clue. Steve Wolfhard, Adventure Time's storyboard artist, has labeled versions of these backgrounds. I seriously recommend checking his stuff out on Tumblr as I will be alluding to it quite often in this video, link in the description. Finn's past lives. Reincarnation is a weirdly common theme in the show, especially when talking about some of the more significant characters. According to the lore, Finn started out as the Blue Catalyst Comet, representing good. Then he was a butterfly, a thing, and then Shoko, who actually knew Princess Bubblegum. That's all as far as we know, but there could have been some left out. As far as future incarnations, Shermie is a massive candidate. Though it's not said explicitly, the show is a bit heavy-handed in its comparisons. Jake is dead in Obsidian. One of the more polarizing theories, this one states that, well, Jake is dead in the Obsidian special. This is backed up by his absence and the fact that Finn has his face tattooed on his chest. While many may say that Jake is off with Lady Rainicorn somewhere frolicking through a meadow, the forget-me-not surrounding Jake's face says otherwise. And honestly, I totally want Jake to be alive too, but all signs point to him kicking the bucket. At least Finn seems at peace with it. KingofOo.tumblr.com. In the episode Apple Wedding, King of Ooh shouts kingofoo.com. Besides being a somewhat in-character exclamation, kingofoo.tumblr.com is actually the official art site for the show. I recommend checking it out as there's some legitimately cool concept art on there. Fiona and Cake's origins. This refers to the sheer mystery surrounding Fiona and Cake's origins. In the episode Fiona and Cake and Fiona, it's revealed that Ice King gets his ideas of Fiona and Cake's adventures beamed into his head at night while he sleeps. It's neither revealed nor hinted towards where this beam is coming from, hence the mystery. Tree Trunks' hybrid children. In the episode High Strangeness, we are introduced to Tree Trunks' alien husband. Husbands? It's still a bit unclear. We are also introduced to our hybrid children. It's very weird and not that many people talk about it, so it lands itself around halfway down the list. Bonnabelle Bubblegum Gas Station. This topic refers to a fantastic video created by YouTuber Uncivilized Elk. Quick aside, please check out Uncivilized Elk's YouTube channel. They make fantastic videos about Adventure Time and other cartoons, and it's safe to say that they were my main inspiration when deciding what the first video on my channel should be. Anyway, the video breaks down the backgrounds of the gas station in the episode Bonnabelle Bubblegum and the tragic story that comes with it. I won't go into it much more as I want you guys to check out the video for yourselves. The Lich's Arm. In the episode Crossover, the Lich manipulates Farmworld Finn into creating a portal to the multiverse. In the episode, the Lich loses his arm via Finn's grass arm. This results in the Lich's arm falling into the portal, causing it to spread across the multiverse. This causes problems in later episodes, like Whispers. Tarot cards. This topic addresses the constant references to tarot cards throughout the series. During the Stakes miniseries, each one of the vampires that Marceline has to slay is named after different tarot cards. For example, you've got the Fool, the Empress, the Hierophant, and the Moon, with the only exception being the Vampire King himself. Besides this, in the episode Daddy-Daughter Card Wars, Charlie uses cards that appear to be tarot cards throughout the episode. The Rinda Mandala. The Rinda Mandala, or the Phil face, is used throughout the series as a stand-in summoning circle. The face is supposed to be in the likeness of Phil Rinda, former lead character designer for the series. He would later go on to work with Disney on Gravity Falls, another series I hold near and dear to my heart. James Baxter. Another real-world reference, James Baxter is an animator who worked on legendary films such as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Lion King, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, among many others. Some more modern works you may recognize his work in are The Croods, How to Train Your Dragon, and Klaus. The point is that he's an animation legend, so much so that he was a guest animator for a character in the show named after him, James Baxter the Horse. And let me be the first to say, the animation is clean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Scholars of Golb. In the episode Whispers, the Lich refers to himself as the last scholar of Golb. This refers to beings who follow, well, Golb, a malevolent deity who inhabits the Adventure Time universe. Seeing as the Lich is the last scholar of Golb, it kind of begs the question who else was there before him. Cosmic Owl Urinal. A weirdly little known fact, this topic refers to the inspiration for the Cosmic Owl's character design being a urinal at Cartoon Network Studios. Since this urinal isn't super unique, this has resulted in multiple Cosmic Owl urinals being discovered throughout the world. So if you ever find yourself standing in front of a urinal, who knows? Maybe the right amount of lights will hit the top of it just right and you might just find yourself encountering the Cosmic Owl in an unexpected place. Prismo straight up dies. In the episode Wake Up, it's revealed that Prismo is actually the subconscious of an old sleeping man. During the episode, the Lich wakes mortal Prismo up and straight up murks him. This results in the Lich committing a cosmic crime, sending him to the Citadel. Not a lot of people talk about Prismo actually dying, and I'm not really sure why. This event actually has repercussions later on down the line, considering Jake's sheer trauma from the event. Nihilism and Death. There's a general vibe of death in the Adventure Time series. While it's a pretty light-hearted show, there are still heavy undertones of the end here and there, hence the nihilism. This isn't by mistake either. One of my favorite jokes in the Adventure Time series is nihilism funnies, and, well, the weight of 1,000 cities crushing down on you, your hopes, your will, your children. Pilot episode. Believe it or not, the first episode of Adventure Time actually aired on Nickelodeon. Hard to believe considering how much of a Cartoon Network staple it is today. The network commissioned the short from Pendleton Ward, resulting in the pilot being created. The short would follow the adventures of Jake the dog and Penn the human. Legend has it that Ward actually asked the network multiple times for the green light to turn it into a series, but he was rejected at every turn. Thank God Cartoon Network swooped in. I can't help but draw parallels between this and whenever the Beatles got rejected by several record companies at first. I'd honestly hate to be the guy who said no to Pendleton Ward. Finn's voice actors. This goes hand in hand with the last one. Unlike most multi-season show protagonists, Finn actually had one voice actor across the entire series. This is unusual, as shows usually swap out VAs every few seasons due to the previous actor's voice getting deeper. However, in Adventure Time, they just let it happen. And it works. Over the course of the show, Finn canonically ages, explaining his deeper voice. However, what's interesting about this is that the original pilot's voice actor is actually the bigger brother of Jeremy Shada, the Finn that we all know and love. Runs in the family, I guess. Finn likes the taste of human flesh. In the episode Her Parents, Finn and Jake meet the parents of Lady Rainicorn. In the show's lore, Rainicorns used to hunt and eat humans after the Great Mushroom War. This comes into play when, at the end of the episode, Finn has to eat what's apparently an extremely accurate soy substitute for the taste of humans. And he likes it. (2009). 2009 refers to the direct descendant of LSP 1000 years into the future, who goes by the same name. We don't really know much about this character besides the fact that they're extremely obscure for some reason. Here's some concept art from Steve Wolfhard's Tumblr. The Pillow World's fate. Okay, so this is legitimately my favorite Adventure Time fan theory. In the episode Puhoi, Finn is transported to another world completely made out of pillows. At first he's trapped and can't find a way out, but over time he makes a life for himself within the pillow world. Eventually he has a wife and kids and eventually settles down. It's a beautiful episode. Seriously one of my favorites. As he lies on his deathbed, the world around him slowly turns black. He plummets through the darkness, encountering Golb on his way out. He then wakes up in the land of U, dazed and confused. Now hear me out here. The theory roughly states that the reason he saw Golb on his way out was because he barely missed the destruction of the Pillow World. This would mean Golb's arrival to the Pillow World bringing about its end, assuming that Golb, the destroyer of worlds, was on his way. The theory is dark and strange, and I love it. Puhoi was also Golb's first appearance, funnily enough. Rumblejaw. Rumblejaw was a codename used for Adventure Time Distant Lands while it was in development. Some members of the crew liked it so much that they even made art based on the fictional series. In the BMO special, an episode of Rumblejaw can be seen playing in the background. Scarlet. Finn's iconic golden sword actually has a name. However, it's not stated at all in the main series. In the DS game Adventure Time Hey Ice King, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage, the sword is referred to as Scarlet. PB's future imprisonment. In the intro for the final episode, Come Along With Me, you can see that Ice Thing has someone imprisoned. Upon closer inspection, one can see that the hands are pink. Many have theorized that this is Princess Bubblegum. A little bit later on in the intro, you can see someone exploring the icy landscape riding a stone duck. Upon closer inspection, this person wears red shoes and blue pants, a common trait of Marceline the Vampire Queen. If this wasn't enough, you can see her initials carved into the telescope she's using. Thanks to all of these clues, one can conclude that Marceline is searching for Princess Bubblegum, who's been imprisoned by the Ice Thing. Why the Ice Thing would do this is a whole nother can of worms. My favorite theory has to do with the Ice Thing being so stricken by grief at the loss of Turtle Princess that he returned to the Ice King's old ways of kidnapping princesses. Primordial creatures. During the Lich's fantastic monologue in the episode Gold Stars, he says something along the lines of,
"Before there was time, before there was anything, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, there were monsters."
It's in this monster soup where beings such as Hunson Abadir and Orgalor come from. Gibbon murdered Turtle Princess. In the final episode, Come Along With Me, we are introduced to the future of Gibbon, Charlie's son, who is first revealed in the episode Daddy-Daughter Card Wars. 1,000 years into the future, and he seems to be holding up surprisingly well. This can be attributed to the Eye of Magwood he has in his possession. After watching the final island song, one can assume that this jewel is the same one that Ice Thing proposed to Turtle Princess with. It's never really hinted towards as to how he got a hold of these, but one of the fan theories is that Gibbon murdered Turtle Princess for it. Though there's not really much backing to this theory, there aren't really any other explanations as to how he got a hold of the gem, considering of course that TP would have been rendered immortal through the possession of the gem, much like Gibbon is revealed to be in his concept art. Malice or Abraxas. In the final episode, Come Along With Me, we see a flashback of Betty hearing about Golb for the first time. As Simon reads from the book, we can see another creature, dubbed Malice, on the other side. This creature bears a striking resemblance to the Gnostic deity Abraxas. This isn't the first time the show has alluded to him either. In the episode Bespoken For, Ice King hits up Life-Giving Magus. When LGM picks up his phone, we can see Abraxas' name scrolled on a sticky note, albeit misspelled. Whether or not this is a coincidence, I'll let you decide. That leaves us with the final topic, which is... No, it can't be. I thought I got rid of you. It's the deer. Before you leave, I'd like to give a big thank you to insert name here, Tebman, Movie Want Kenobi, Auburn 2002, Isblank1, Drake 301, Reddit Explorer, Bold Action Man, and Just for Tess for helping me create this list. These were the people on the Adventure Time subreddit who contributed topics to put on the iceberg. Safe to say that without them, the iceberg would be half the size it is now. I also wish to thank Mish Kaz on YouTube, who made the Super Mario 64 iceberg video. Thanks to him, I was inspired to make an iceberg video myself. Besides that, I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for taking the time to sit through this insanely long 20-minute video. Also, if you have any questions or remarks about the topics and analysis in this video, please let me know in the comments as I plan on making a follow-up of sorts with revisions and the like. Thanks again for watching, and see you when I do.